is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another video to get y'all hyped for the season as is almost here. Preseason has been beautiful. Matter of fact, I'm watching it right now because the Sixers was playing the Mavericks, and obviously the Jazz are playing right now too. But we're gonna do a top 5 list, as the title say. This is a lot tougher than you think. A lot of players, is going to be a lot of people y'all question. There's going to be a lot of people that y'all going to be thinking, how did he put this? How did he put that? But that's the fun of the list. We all have our favorite players. We all have our biases. We all have players that have the play styles that we like. But at the end of the day, this is all debatable. This is all for conversation. This is all just for fun because we all are different and all value different things. First, I will definitely start off with the honorable mentions. Players that in that top 6, 7, 8 spot, but not in my top 5. And some of these are questionable because some people going to disagree with these, but it's just my personal opinion. John Wall is an honorable mention only because of the knees. John Wall was obviously an All-NBA player not too long ago. He was an All-Star this year. So let's not make it seem like John Wall is trash. He's garbage. He's washed up. He still played on the All-Star level. He didn't play as well after the knee surgery, which we should expect because he just had knee surgery coming at the end of the season and going into the playoffs. He still chose to play, so we can't make any excuses for him, even though we understand why he didn't play that well. He still chose to play, and we still have to judge him based off that. He still is one of the best point guards in the league. He's not as great as a defender as he used to be, and you can predicate that to the knee injuries. But at the same time, he still is a leader. He still made it out of the first round multiple times. He still helped his team win 40-plus games multiple times, make the playoffs multiple times. He never was able to get that 50-win season. He has the best talent he has ever had with Dwight Howard at the center. Obviously, you have Morris, Beal, Porter, Austin Rivers, Kelly Oubre. This is a chance for him to really get to the Eastern Conference Finals because we don't know Toronto, Philly, the Bucks. They all in that mix to go against the Celtics. And I think they all are on the same level or not too far away or a piece away from beating each other. So they have a real opportunity to go to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. And that will only enhance his legacy if he's able to get there. And it will be even better if he can finally get 50 wins in a season with him and Bradley Beal both being all-stars last year. That's something that they should really be pushing to, is having the best regular season and trying to get the highest seed possible going into next year. Ben Simmons. Only reason I didn't put Ben Simmons is because it seems like he just, and I said this is not me stealing it from somebody. This is just my personal opinion. I've been saying this for years. He don't like to score. He's a solid defender. Well, he is bigger than every point guard on the court, and he is athletic enough to guard them. But you do have to give him credit for being big, long, and just oversizing them. But he also is a great defender at that position. But his ability to really do everything else, he can rebound, he can defend, he has good IQ, good decision making. But for him to go from the average 15 points being bigger, taller, and stronger than every point guard in the league, literally, besides probably LeBron James, even though he's played the small forward position, he handles the ball a lot like a point guard. Other than that, he should be out here just flat out dominating people, on getting assists and points, and he should be averaging a triple-double. If it's one point guard in the league other than Russell Westbrook that should be averaging triple-double, should be Ben Simmons. Even though he did put up 15, 8, and 8, which is damn near a triple-double, and he ain't too far from it, he had the best opportunity, size, length, and athleticism-wise, and he always sit back and get the rebounds. He could possibly be a person that can average a triple-double other than Oscar and Russell at that point guard position. Only reason why I didn't give it to him is his scoring ability. He chooses not to score even if he's in the paint most of the time. He refuses to shoot. He didn't even attempt 1-3 last year. He is smart. He does find other ways to impact the game. He does slow down the game. He does read the game. But he has to start figuring out if he's open, kind of got the Rondo syndrome. He's starting to change too. they're not going to guard you. And we seen that in this Boston series. If you're going to literally choose not to score and really choose, like, I don't want to score even if I'm open, they're just going to let you do whatever you want to do. Because we're not going to give you the pass if you're not going to ever score. We're just going to play you for the pass. And until he learns that team's going to continue to play him like that and he don't want to attack and he don't want to score, he's going to hinder his team offensively because he's just going to be too predictable. But he did enough last year to be on the honorable mention list, and he did help his team win 16 games, get out of the first round. So I do have to give him credit for that. Another honorable mention, obviously, will be Kyle Lowry. He helped the team win 59 games last year, even though he didn't perform well in the playoffs. He hasn't really done that anyway, but that's just what he does in the regular season has to be notable, and he was an all-star last year too, so I do have to give him credit for that. Now we can get into the list. I think that's about all the point guards that I should just mention right now. 5, Kyrie. Only reason why I don't have Kyrie Irving is because of injuries. Just like John Wall, he played exceptionally well. He got a lot of credit for playing with LeBron, but he was able to shoot efficient from the field and efficient from the three. Without LeBron, Brad Stevens used him right. He still was able to isolate. He still was able to create his own shot. He became a better team passer. He didn't always try to go G-ball and try to do all this dancing. He did play within the offense. He did get a lot of spot-up threes, and he did change. And he did buy into a team concept offensively and defensively. I think he needs to continue to improve on these areas if he really wants to become a champion, and he has the talent to take down the Warriors. It's just about being mature, going out there, executing, going out there and playing together, and he did that a lot last year. But honestly and truthfully, he still got ways to go if he wants to be the number one point guard. But also, he's putting in that work, he's putting in that effort, and he's still very young. He can eventually reach it. But right now, he's 5. 4, Russell Westbrook. This is going to cause a lot of chaos and a lot of people disagreeing because you see on a lot of people's list, Russell Westbrook either be second, first, or one of those two. He didn't play well in the playoffs, guys, and this is consistent. He's going to put up a lot of shots. He's going to get a lot of stats, but it doesn't add to wins. They haven't won, just like I said about John Wall, they haven't won 50 games with Russell Westbrook being the best player. They had Carmelo. They had an all-star and an all-NBA player in Paul George. They had one of the best centers and led the NBA in offensive rebounds in Steven Adams. They had a decent bench this year. He has no excuse not to win 50 and get out of the first round. He has that backup point guard. Oh, nobody, when Russ goes on the bench, they don't have nobody. They now have Schroeder. They now have Paul George. They still have Steven Adams. Obviously, they have a solid bench with Grant, and then you have Patterson, another good role player. You still have Ferguson. You still have enough to where he shouldn't have to carry the load as much as he does. He's still going to put up numbers. He's still going to put up stats, but it has to equal the wins. He hasn't won 50 games. He hasn't even got out of the first round as the man, so that does hurt him for me. He does take a lot of shots. He does get tunnel vision a lot, and he also is not a great defender, and he's not the most efficient player. He's on a historic run for turnovers and field goals missed, and he's going to actually lead the Thunder in history for the most turnovers and field goals missed and field goals taken. And he really shot better from the field this year. But for him to be as big and strong and as fast as he is, you would think he'd be more efficient. Like Chris Paul is super efficient. He's shorter, smaller, and not as athletic. That just shows you that Russell can continue to improve his game, even though he is low on this list. He still is one of the best players in the league and one of the best point guards. 3rd, Damian Lillard. Like I said, this year, this list is going based on going into this year, so it does value last year. He was able to help the Portland Trailblazers get high and give them the whole court advantage. And on top of that, he had one of his best seasons ever. Even though his numbers isn't that much different than what he did last year. Steph was injured. Some guys like Chris Paul didn't play their best year and had injuries. He took advantage of Jimmy Butler going down, San Antonio not playing with Kawhi Leonard, and you have to give them credit. They went out there and won games. They went out there and stole games, and they took advantage of people being injured and people not being healthy. He got the first team because of that. He got a high seed because of that. But one thing he didn't do was get out of the first round with a team that was missing their second best player in DeMarcus Cousins. They was basically outmatched, and he didn't look the same. So I do have to value what he did in the playoffs in this season. So He didn't play well in the playoffs. He didn't dominate. He didn't have one signature game in the playoffs. So I can't have him that high. But in his defense, Kyrie Irving did not even play in the playoffs, and Russell did not play well either. So I'm adding that in. Chris Paul is my number 2. Y'all know I'm a huge Chris Paul guy. One thing I definitely say is he didn't stay healthy, but when he was healthy, he was one of the best point guards in the league, one of the most efficient, didn't have that much turnover, shot well from the free throw, shot well from the free throw, from the 3-point, from the field, and he still put up some decent scoring numbers and some decent assist numbers, and he was at his best in the playoffs when they needed him to slow down the game and get good shots for him and his teammates. He was able to control the pace of the game, knew when to run it, knew when to slow it down, knew when to shoot, knew when to pass, knew when to take over, and he knew when to rely on his teammates to knock down shots and give them easier shots, and he knew when to get the ball to James Harden, who really helped them and hurted them throughout the playoffs. Only problem with Chris Paul, him and James Harden never really had great performances together, and that really hurted them, even though they was up 3-2 against Golden State, but not really having great synergy in the playoffs. They did good enough to almost go to the finals and have a chance at a championship, and Chris Paul was the main reason in that Utah series and in that Golden State series of why they could have went to the NBA Finals. So you still have to give him respect. He still is one of the best players in the NBA, more efficient than most point guards, shorter, smaller, littler, not as physical and strong, but he knows how to play, he knows how to attack, and he uses his brain, and he's smart and very efficient. Especially, he probably the most efficient guard on this list, including number 1, Steph Curry. Steph Curry, he's a 2-time MVP. The last point guard to win the MVP was Russell, but he did it on 30, a 30 per triple-double. He did it on 30, almost 50, 40, and 90. So that's about even. And on top of that, he has been lights out when he plays. He's the engine. People say he's the most valuable. He's the engine. He knocks down these threes. He's unguardable. You can't leave him open. You have to pay attention to wherever he's out on the floor, even at the half court line. The guy is fearless. He's ferocious. He's just too much. And we even know that we don't play against Steph because we're not NBA players, but even when we play on 2K, you have to check Steph because you know he can pull up from anywhere. Whether it's whether from the 3, whether it's from the free throw, whether even if it's a floater. Steph Curry, the best point guard in the league. I think Chris Paul is closer than a lot of people think, and he took the throne from Chris Paul. But him being a multiple-time champion, him being able to dominate and even be one of the most favorite players to watch and still give you efficient numbers. Yes, he has bad shooting nights, but who really doesn't? He's been able to win the championships. He won the MVPs and he won the championships. So he is the best point guard right now. It's closer than a lot of people think because of the injuries that he's been sustaining, and he is getting older. We don't know how long he's going to hold down his number 1 spot. But as for right now, he can score just as good as anybody because, like I said, he averages 30. He's just as efficient scoring the ball as anybody at this position. He's not as pass-friendly as people like John Wall and Chris Paul, but he can score just as good as Dame, and he did because he averaged more points than Dame. He can score just as good and as efficient as Kyrie, and he's just as dominant as Russell and Chris Paul. Steph Curry is my number 1 point guard in the league. Let me know who you think is number 1, who your top 5 is, what you agree, what you disagree about. And on top of that, continue to watch my videos. Binge watch them if you're new to the channel. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you're a fan of the video. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, the comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Check out my Spreadshirt. There you can find t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, accessories like phone cases, pillowcases, even water bottles. Is basically a branding thing. Thanks for supporting that. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for continuing to watch. I love making these videos. I love y'all watch these videos and enjoy them. Quinway Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And tomorrow I'll be doing the top 5 shooting guards. And the last award I'm going to do is probably going to be Defensive Player of the Year, but that's later next week, as I'm going to try to do every single position for this 5 days. And probably Saturday or Sunday, I'll give y'all the Defensive Player of the Year, who I think is going to win that award. I'm gone.